And the last game! What's up with y'all, man? Donut Squad, I am back with another vid, and for today, we are going to be reacting to whatever is going on with this Paul George situation. Right before we hop into this video, man, make sure I like this video, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, and right after that, comment down in the Let's Gang if you fuck with your boy. But let's go ahead and hop right into this, man. I hope y'all enjoy this video, and I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all, bro. Let's see what's going on with this Paul George situation, man, because I ain't going front. I heard that, yeah, he's banned for, not banned, but he's suspended for 25 games for failing the drug test policy.
Medication will cost Paul George the next 25 games.
Well, guys, this is going to cost Paul George almost $12 million.
That he takes full responsibility and
million?
apologizes to the team and fans.
Kind of next man up mentality for quite a while, and we're gonna have to
12
dig in and
M's?
do it again.
5 days ago, Paul George had the best game of his entire Philadelphia 76ers career. 32 points, 9 3-pointers. He became only the third player in NBA history to hit 9 threes in a single game, joining only Steph Curry and James Harden in that club. The Sixers blew out the Bucks by 17 points. Joel Embiid was healthy. Tyrese Maxey was cooking for the first time in what feels like forever. The big three in Philadelphia actually looked like it could make some noise in the Eastern Conference. So the NBA naturally looked.
That makes sense now on why they, feel me, automatically drug testing him. Now, I be joking like, yo, go ahead, drug test him. He's overly wilding, but now it don't sound too crazy when I say go ahead and drug test these players that be acting overly out their body. They saw Paul George hit 9 threes. They're like, yep, nope, get him right now because he was not doing this ever in his life. Hold on.
This situation and said, hold on.
Some ain't right
Guess
for me.
what? They were absolutely correct. On Saturday morning, the NBA dropped a bomb that nobody saw coming. Paul George has been suspended for 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug program. That's a quarter of the entire season gone, and the reason behind it is where this story gets really fascinating. And what's even crazier is, believe it or not, this may have just helped the Philadelphia 76ers even more. I'm going to get to all that in just a minute, so make sure you subscribe and have our notifications on, and follow us on Instagram so you can influence what content we make. And real quick, just one announcement. This is the final one of the year, guys. Drake May just got off this past week alone.
I don't care.
I'm gonna mic check
I don't
1
care.
2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So let's break down what we actually know here. The NBA announced that Paul George violated the terms of the NBA NBPA anti-drug program. Now, under this program, players get randomly tested for 3 categories of substances: drugs of abuse, alcohol, and PEDs. And the league didn't specifically say which category Paul George fell into, but here's the key detail that tells us everything. A 25-game suspension is the standard punishment for a first-time PED violation under the 2017 collective bargaining agreement. Before that, it used to be 20 games. They bumped it up to 25 specifically to send a stronger message. So when you see 25 games, that's the league's way of telling you that Paul George wasn't just smoking the devil's lettuce or going on a bender with some of his buddies. This was the PED category. Now, the financial hit Paul George is taking from this is absolutely brutal. I mean, he's making $51.7 million this season. The suspension is going to cost him roughly $11.7 million in forfeited salary. He won't be eligible to return until March 25th against the Chicago Bulls, which means he's going to miss everything from now through late March. The Sixers will only have 10 games left in the regular season when he comes back. 10 games to figure out
10 games?
with a guy who hasn't played in 2 months. That's a
Oh my God, 76ers let him go immediately, bro. I've been saying this though, bro. The 76ers need to let Paul George go. I'm sorry. Joel Embiid, you gotta go too, gang. I'm not even going front and just restart, bro. They have a young core that works fine for me. They got VJ Edgecombe, they got Tyrese Maxey. You feel me? You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, come on, gang. Like, we got some good players, bro. For me, we got my son. I forgot what is it. Oh, Jared McCain. They got Jared McCain. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna get Rookie of the Year last season? You feel me, bro? They just need to just restart and get a young core. Probably get one good vet or two, maybe, depending on what that vet is. And y'all are Gucci. Other than that, bro, let Paul George, Joel Embiid go. and restart the process again. It's not looking too good, bro.
Nightmare scenario heading into the playoffs. Now, this story unfortunately takes a very dark turn. Paul George released a statement to Shams, and I want to read you exactly what he said because the wording here matters. Over the past few years, I've discussed the importance of mental health, and in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. I take full responsibility for my actions and apologize to the Sixers organization, my teammates, and the Philly fans for my poor decision making during this process. He went on to say that I am focused on using this time to make sure that my mind and body are in the best condition to help the team when I return. Now, some people are wondering if this is just some convenient excuse, because this is typically what anyone says whenever they get caught with PEDs.
Oh, I just took an improper medication and it just happened to have testosterone in it. Oops.
But you can make a very reasonable argument to give Paul George the benefit of the doubt because he's been a huge vocal advocate for mental health in the entire NBA for years now. In August of 2020, during the NBA bubble, Paul George came forward and admitted that he was struggling badly. He said he was in a dark place mentally. He talked about how the isolation of the bubble environment was getting to him. After a really terrible 3-game slump where fans were clowning him online, he dropped 35 points in a pivotal Game 5 against Dallas.
I'm not gonna front. I'm gonna give Paul George that, bro, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. That mental health is actually real, gang. And if there's like somebody who's more of a who is an extrovert, not saying Paul George is an extrovert, but if you're not somebody that likes to just stay in the house all the time, bro, and just stay in one little room, you could feel like lonely, feel isolated, and it can mess up your mental health for a fact. So I'm gonna give him that one, bro, because a lot of people were clowning him about that. I don't even play like that when it comes to mental health, because that shit is real. No cap, bro. It is very real. But I ain't gonna lie, gang, for this moment right here, bro, I don't know what to tell you, gang. You know better. You knew better. Come on, gang.
Opened up about what he'd been going through. He said, the bubble got the best of me. I was just in a bad place. I really wasn't there.
That's understandable.
I really wasn't here. I checked out. So Paul George didn't just talk about this once and move on. He made it a central part of who he is. He partnered with BetterHelp to provide up to $3 million worth of free mental health services to people in need. He did interviews specifically to encourage others to get help. He talked about going to multiple therapists himself. And just 2 weeks ago, in an interview with Philly Sports Network, Paul George talked about how the last 2 years have been a mental battle for him. He mentioned personal stuff going on, the California fires threatening his home, frustration from injuries, and holding himself accountable for not living up to his own expectations. He said that there was just a ton of stuff that was weighing on him. So when he says this suspension stems from seeking mental health treatment and taking an improper medication, I think we should be taking this seriously. This isn't some guy who's never talked about mental health before suddenly using it as a shield. This is someone who has been
why did he use Kanye West and Ben Simmons though? Did they talk about I don't know, whatever.
About his struggles for years. Now here's where this gets interesting, and this is a twist that nobody expected. This suspension might actually given the Sixers front office exactly what they wanted. Let me explain. The Sixers have been in an awkward position all season long. They were sitting about $7 million over the luxury line, and if you know anything about this organization, you know that Josh Harris, their owner, has been accused of ducking the tax for years. Joel Embiid called this out just 2 days before the suspension. He told reporters,
"We see we've been ducking the tax."
Oh wow, Joel Embiid talked about this. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
I love all the guys that are in here, so I think we got a shot. So it's hopefully I don't know what they're gonna do, but I hope.
I didn't even know player. I'm not gonna front. I didn't even know players could even talk about things like this, bro. I thought this would go against the contract, but I guess not. For me,
chance to, just go out and compete.
That's the franchise player of this team putting pressure on ownership to spend money. That's how bad this tax situation has been. But here's where Paul George's suspension comes in. When a player gets suspended for 20 or more games, the team gets to deduct half of that player's forfeited salary from their luxury tax payroll. So with George losing $11.7 million, the Sixers get a tax variance credit of about $5.87 million. So do the math. They were $7 million over the tax. They just got a $5.87 million credit. That leaves them only about $1.3 million over the luxury tax line. Now, instead of having to make a significant trade to dump salary, they can probably duck the tax with a minor move. They don't have to trade Kelly Oubre Jr. or Quentin Grimes just to save money. The suspension just did the heavy lifting for them. Is that a silver lining? I mean, Maybe, kind of. It's definitely not how anyone wanted this to happen, but in a weird way, Paul George's mistake might have saved the Sixers from making a roster-damaging trade just to satisfy their owner's desire to avoid the tax. So what happens next? Well, Paul George can still practice with the team and travel with them, but he has to leave the arena 2 hours before tip-off for every game. He's going to watch 25 games from home or from a hotel room somewhere, unable to do anything but wait. The trade deadline is February 5th. The Sixers were already in a weird spot, with Embiid publicly pressuring them not to make cost-cutting moves. Now they have even more decisions to make. Do they go get help to replace what George provides? Do they trust VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre Jr. to fill that gap? Do they go out there and try to trade for someone that could fill that void? Nick Nurse has to figure out his rotation all over again. He called this a punch to the gut, but said he's got to lead the charge and get the team fighting. And
I ain't going front, bro. I personally feel like the 76ers are better with like Paul George really coming off the bench, really. Like, I know that sounds crazy and all, considering Paul George is an elite player for me. He's a, I don't know how many time All-Star, probably like a 10-time All-Star or something like that. You know, for me, I feel like it'd be better if Paul George come off the bench, bro. And you let the young core do what they gotta do, and let a vet like Paul George come off the bench and really help out the bench. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like on some Westbrook shit, for me. Like, I think that would be a way better move for them to do. You know what I'm saying, bro? Instead of starting Paul George, even though I know he's OD. I don't know. That's just me personally, bro.
Joel Embiid, the guy who has been healthy for once, the guy who is averaging 27.9 points and looking dominant again, now he's got to carry an even heavier load. The danger is that they push him too hard, play him too many minutes, and something breaks down right before the playoffs. That's the Sixers' nightmare scenario playing out in real time. As for Paul George himself, he's got 25 games to sit with his thoughts, to work on his mental health like he says he wants to get his mind and body right. He'll come back on March 25th against the Bulls with only 10 games to shake off the rust before the playoffs. The question is, what version of Paul George comes back? Is it the guy who hit 9 threes against Milwaukee and looked like vintage playoff P? Or is it someone who's been knocked down yet again, dealing with public scrutiny, financial loss, and the weight of letting his team down? Let me know what you guys think about this crazy situation in the comment section down below. Aside from that,
I ain't gonna front. That's actually crazy though. But Paul George definitely does know way better than to be doing what he did. You feel me, bro? I feel like this is something definitely that was just like a move he wanted to do just so he can hurry up and just, you know, get better and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? That way he can mentally just feel. I feel like it was something he was just trying to do to make him mentally feel better, bro. And it just backfired out of nowhere. He probably didn't expect for them to do a random drug test on him, even though they always do that. Feel me? I don't know, man. But hey, yo, shout out to Paul George, man. You know, I hope he does better with, you know, his mental and everything like that. And bro, don't do that again. Don't do it again.